All right.
My name is Triston, and I'll be refuting the claim that illegal immigration takes away jobs from American citizens. My opponent's secondary claims consisted of: one, the growing number of immigrants takes the majority of low-skilled jobs. Second claim was that immigrants abuse the guest worker program. And the final secondary claim is that illegal immigrants take jobs from Americans who need them the most. In response to the first claim, my opponent made a reference that Americans have to compete with 7 million illegal immigrants in the U.S., and that just shows that it's an old study because, according to Adam Davidson's article, Questions and Answers about Illegal Immigration in the Economy, 2006 research, there was estimated numbers of 12 to 20 million illegal immigrants in the United States. The Federation for American Immigration Reform reports that 21% of immigrants are on welfare, and so that just shows that really not all the immigrants, not even all of the immigrants that are here illegally are taking jobs from Americans. So that weakens the point quite a bit. And really, most of the jobs that are taken by these illegal immigrants are, like, for instance, farm jobs, and less Americans are willing to pick up these jobs because of the fact that they work too much work for too little pay, and that's according to Dimitrios Papadimitriou, president of the Migration Policy Institute in Washington. My opponent's next claim was that the immigrants abuse the guest worker program. And to support this claim, they had a list of a lot of jobs that illegal immigrants take, and but they provided no source of information of where they got that. So it really doesn't strengthen their argument very much without any references or citations. They also used an example of companies bringing over immigrants on the guest worker program and then shipping the jobs back with them when they return. My opponent's argument would have been strengthened a lot more if they had used maybe examples of any companies, but without any examples, they provided no examples, and so it was left to really hypothetical assumptions. Not only that, it just by listing all these jobs, such as computer science and engineering positions, along with administrative positions and so on, it really takes away from their first point that immigrants are taking away from the low-skilled jobs. It's really just a contradiction in itself. So, and really, the Bush administration was the one who created the guest worker program, and it was for the exact purpose of bringing in foreign labor to fill in the positions that immigrants are taking. So really, there is no abuse if they're coming over here for the exact purpose. They're coming over here and doing exactly what the program is meant for them to do. For my opponent's third claim, it was that illegal immigration take jobs from Americans who need them the most. And my opponent uses an example of the stimulus bill and the jobs that it's providing, but refers to it as if it is still going to be passed, or if it passes, and really it's an old source that they use because the bill has been passed, and they say that that a lot of those jobs are going to be going to illegal immigrants, when really because there is no requirement for the government or for the companies to hire documented workers. But when the bill was passed, it actually is required. It is mandatory on May 21st of last year that E-Verify is required for federal contractors using the stimulus job plans, and that's according to Carlson Beth and Valerie Darlin and E-Verify for federal contractors. Internet source. And it is, and really, the jobs aren't being taken from Americans. like my opponent suggested, there's also the legal immigrants that come here, and to say that Americans that need it the most is really kind of it's an opinion as to who deserves it most or who is the one who really needs it. When really the immigrants that are coming over here for the purpose of getting out of the poverty that they came from, which is a lot worse than any poverty than the common poverty we see in America. And so really, if you want to go by need and actual poverty levels, it would be the immigrants that are coming over here illegally and making the effort to do so and abide by the law. And according to Adam Davidson again, decreasing the pay wages of the low skill level decreases the cost of living, and so therefore wages, the higher paying jobs only increase their value, and the lower paying jobs aren't as affected as you would as it may sound. I hope you agree with me on my point, and thank you for listening.
All right, you start off pretty well labeling the claim and the secondary issues clearly, and then you go right to the first point. You signpost that, fine. Your suggestion about the data being old is okay based on the numbers that you have, but I'm not exactly sure how that advances your claim or any particular claim on this, and I'm not exactly sure that it automatically shows that it's old, because it's 7 million people competing for the jobs versus 21 illegal immigrants, or 21 million illegal immigrants. Well, maybe not all of the immigrants are looking for jobs. They might be kids and families and that sort of thing. So I don't know that it automatically undermines that point, but even if what you say is true, then you need to clarify what the impact is. For instance, let's suppose that it was true. What was the impact on employment then, and now that it's substantially more, what's the impact on employment? If you could look at the different periods of time that data came from and say, you know, we had 6% unemployment in 1990 when we thought we had 7 million illegal immigrants here, and we have, you know, basically up until a year and a half ago we had 6% unemployment with 21 million illegal immigrants, then it doesn't seem to have altered the employment statistics much. I think that's the way you could make that argument more useful to you. Transition to the second point was okay. You challenged the evidence a little bit, but your basic challenge is that there's no source on the information. You don't present any counter evidence on this point, and it sounds more like a critique rather than a refutation of the argument. I think your internal contradiction argument is explained. That's okay. I'm not sure what you're getting out of the guest worker program. On the third point, again, your citation's clear. I think the best argument that you have here is that the stimulus program not only got passed, but it requires that the jobs be to Americans because of the people have a right to work here anyway because of the E-Verify standard that you have, which then makes your following argument a little bit complicated because you're kind of contradicting yourself. You know, well, if we're just going to be basing this on who needs the jobs, people who are coming from another country and are poor, the poverty there is so much worse, well then damn, what the hell are we doing using this E-Verify thing? Let's just hire people because they need the jobs. If you're going to point out an internal contradiction on the advocate's argument, I think that we've got an internal contradiction on this point as well. All right, and the last argument that you make about wages, it wasn't very clearly explained how it impacts the total argument. All right.